Today is April 25th, 2016. We are at the home of Jorge Romo on Route 9 in Marlboro. My name is Soren Whitehouse. Today's production crew is on video camera, Cyrus Burt. On audio recorder is Alex Connor. On still camera is also Alex Connor. Okay. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your background.
Okay.
When did you move to Marlboro?
To Marlboro, I moved here in 2011.
Where did you live before you moved here?
Before I moved to Marlboro, I lived in California.
What are some of the reasons why you moved here?
One of the reasons that I have an older son that lives here. And before that is because, I don't know, I wanted to move out of Los Angeles.
So how many years have you lived here?
20 years in Vermont.
What's your spouse's name?
Selena. Romo.
What has been her career?
Her career until last year, she was into the hospitality business, and before that she was a parent at school.
May I ask how old you are now?
I am 43 years old.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Guadalajara, Mexico.
How would you describe yourself when you were a child?
A little bit of a dreamer, kind of crazy.
What sort of things were you interested in when you were a child?
When I was a kid, I wanted to explore the world. But then when you grow up, you find out it takes money to go all the places. So.
What high school did you go to?
I attended a high school in Mexico, Escuela Técnica 62, like Technical School 62.
What did you do in the summer after you completed high school?
I moved to the United States.
Did you attend college or university?
Nope, I never went to college or universities.
What are your parents' names?
Enrique Romo and Maria de Jesus Jimenez.
What are their careers?
My mom is a stay-at-home mom, and my dad at this point is retired, but he was a chef.
Where do they live?
Los Angeles.
Do you have any siblings?
I do have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
What are their names?
Teresa, Marta, Enrique, and Roberto.
Where do they live?
My brother Enrique lives in Gaston, California. It's about an hour south of San Francisco. My sister Teresa still lives in Guadalajara, Mexico. And my brother Roberto lives in Indiana. And my other sister Marta lives with my parents in Los Angeles.
What do they do?
My sister in Mexico, I think she does some kind of sewing and clothes, something like that. One of my brothers in California works in a peanut factory. They bring the peanuts from the fields and they clean them and put them into package, and then you get them at home. And my little brother Roberto works at the Subaru car factory.
You must still have relatives in Mexico. Are you able to get away from work and life here and able to visit them?
About every 2 years I try to go to Mexico and visit them.
Do they ever come here?
Nope. Well, yeah, nope.
Would you mind giving a brief explanation of your experiences in leaving Mexico to live in the United States and becoming a citizen of this country?
Well, it's really hard. You have to go through a lot of background checks to become a citizen. First, you have to be here for somebody to petition for you to come to the United States. You get a tourist visa at first, and then you have to leave the country like within 3 months. Then you get a 2-year visa that you get to come. It's like a permanent resident. And then after you were good 2 years that you don't commit any crimes or you don't do anything, you get a 10-year visa. And after being here 10 years and your record's still clean and you haven't done anything wrong, you can become a U.S. citizen.
When did you get married to Selena Olmsted?
9, 10, 11.
How did you meet?
When I met Selena, she was 18 and I was 24. She used to go to Franklin Pierre College in Keene, New Hampshire. And I used to be the assistant kitchen manager at Applebee's, where she also worked to make extra money. About 10 years later, we reconnected up in Westover, Vermont. And she was divorced and I was divorced, and then we got together.
When was your house built?
This house in 1950s?
Who built it?
No idea.
What have you done any work on?
I have remodeled the whole house basically. I took all the siding, all the windows, floors. I don't think there's anything original left on the house.
When did you do that?
Over the past 7 years.
What are the names of your children?
Olivia, Willow, Scott, and Dahlia.
How old are they now?
Scott's 18 years old, Olivia's 14, Willow's 10, and Dahlia's 5 next week.
What grades are they in?
Scott is graduating high school, Olivia's in 8th grade, Willow's in 4th grade, and Dahlia's in kindergarten.
So I suppose now we're going to move into work-related questions. I'd like to ask you some questions about your work as a builder and contractor. How old were you when you first started working as a builder?
25 years old.
How did you learn what you needed to know?
I became an apprentice to a master carpenter, and he started teaching me a lot of the stuff that he knows. He used to call it ancient Chinese secrets. That's what he used to say. It's an ancient Chinese secret.
Aside from work as a builder, what other jobs have you had as an adult?
As an adult, I did candy delivery. I worked for vending machines and sodas and stuff. I worked on restaurants, and that's about it. Not a lot.
Why did you choose construction for your career as opposed to any other jobs you could have?
When I moved to the United States, I was 17, and I didn't speak English at the time, and getting a construction job was easier than going to school, and because I didn't know the language at the time. I think it would have been different if I speak a little bit, It's just one of those things.
You are an independent contractor now?
I am an independent contractor.
Have you worked for any other builders?
I have. Many of them, I used to have to travel out of state for 2 months at a time, and then come back, and then you leave for 2 months, so I decided that wasn't for me.
Who have you worked for?
It's called North Timber Framing Company. They're out of North Carolina. And I also work for J.P. Lucky Construction. They're no longer in business anymore.
What people and experiences have taught you the most about working as a builder and contractor?
That everybody has different expectations when you go to their house. You're basically to blame if anything was wrong when you work by yourself. So, I don't know, you have to learn how to listen to people's needs, totally different. Everybody's different, they expect something different. Some people are really quick, it's like I want this and that and that. Some people tell you what they want and how they want it, and maybe you can tweak it here or not, so it's a little different for dealing with people.
Do you find that's a positive thing, or?
It is, but it's kind of annoying,
What skills do you feel you've learned from those people and or experiences that are important to you right now?
I think listening to people, knowing what they want, what they expect from you, and that's also getting your point across, that like making them feel comfortable with them letting you into their house every day to do something.
For how many years have you been self-employed?
6 years.
Why do you prefer to be self-employed?
Because I can go to work when I want. I can start at 10 in the morning to 8 at night, or vice versa. With different contractors, because they have so many employees, you have a set schedule.
Would you give some examples of jobs you've had during your time as a self-employed contractor?
Sure, I have built many additions to houses, decks, roofs, siding jobs. I think I painted the White House's house once. When I have free time, I come home and I do something here.
Do you prefer doing newer construction or renovations?
I like doing renovations because I work for myself, and if it's a new construction, I will have to hire somebody else to come and help me because it's a big project. Whether if I'm just doing a few small renovations, I can do it by myself, so I don't have to hire anybody else.
Do you have a different approach for new construction as opposed to renovations?
Yes, on new construction, when you go into building a whole house, you pretty much know what you're getting into because everything's fresh. You start with a new foundation to everything new. When you go to a house to do a renovation, and you have to take down a wall, and then you never know if the floor is gonna be rotted or there's gonna be a lot of different issues with a renovation compared to new construction.
Do you prefer to work to someone else's design, or such as an architect or an interior designers, or do you prefer to do both the designing and the building yourself?
Sometimes it's easier to do it yourself, but what I do is like if you have to work with an architect or an engineer, you have to just follow their specs, and if you get hired as a builder, you're just a builder, so you don't have that extra thing to do like design, but a lot of the times I end up doing the design and all that stuff.
In what ways are you involved with the client in the design aspects of the jobs that you do?
A lot of times I have to bring materials to show them, like if they want to do a wood floor, I bring 4 or 5 different samples. Tile, I do the same, I bring a lot of samples. For windows, we take 3 or 4, not as many samples, because as a window they're a lot bigger, so I take 2 or 3 different specs from like Anderson to Pella windows, they're giving like the very expensive one, a cheap one, and one in the middle.
What sorts of things make for like a satisfying project?
When the customer smiles and pays you, say thank you, great job. Yeah.
What would you say are some of your particular skills as a contractor?
I think I'm pretty honest when I go and talk to people and tell them what they can expect from me. You just gotta be honest and say, we're doing this much. A lot of people ask you for an estimate, so you just give them an estimate to the closest price that you're gonna end up at the end. And coming close to that is really important to people, because if you go up really high, they always freak out. If you come a little low, they're happier. So I think giving estimates when I just try to with people is like if you're really close or a little under, a lot of the time they're really happy.
What are some of the things that can happen on a job that you can't plan for, but which have happened to you?
People don't like what you're doing. They tell you to leave. That's never happened to me. Close, you know. The things that I do is like basically every day you have to communicate with them. Whether, you know, if it's a bigger project, you like this, you like where we stand. Explain to them what's gonna happen next, so they can get their input. It's like, okay, I don't want these, I don't want that, maybe these, can we change this? And instead of just finishing by yourself and then they're like, why? Why is it this way? Why can't you consult like 2 days before when the windows were out? So, a lot of communication.
What sorts of things, situations can make building a dangerous job?
Not paying attention to what you do. You know, if you're looking away when you're cutting something, you can chop your fingers. If you're nailing something with a gun and the nail comes out the other side, and I know my finger runs through. So little things like that. You know, basically you gotta be aware of your surroundings, clearing all the stuff that you can trip or fall off, beware where the edge of the roof is, little stuff like that.
Do you feel you do that well?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I don't want to get hurt. So I'm always, you know, if I'm going up a ladder, I make sure that it's secure. If I'm up the roof, I make sure I have brackets or a rope tying me to the chimney or something. You know, little safety things.
What are the parts of your job that you really enjoy? Or like?
I like that I get to be outside a lot of the time. I like the freedom of coming and going as I please. You know, if I have something important, I just take the day off without having to call my boss. I just tell the homeowner I have something else to do. And most of the time they don't expect you every day, so it's kind of one of the things I like the most. Dealing with people, meeting all kinds of people, not being nosy by going into all different buildings. I mean, you go from a building that was built like 3 years ago to one that was built in 1776. So there's a lot of different architecture that you can see and that kind of thing.
Are there any parts of your job that you don't especially enjoy?
I don't like plumbing. And being a general contractor, it's kind of one of those things that I always tell people. Like, I'm not good at plumbing. Don't like to plunge the toilet or some stuff like that.
Did you do most of your work in the local area?
Within a 2-hour radius of here.
What's like the farthest you've had to travel to work?
For myself, I think New Hampshire, Londonderry, New Hampshire. That's about 2 hours from here.
Do you have like a sort of general idea of a typical work day from when you get up until?
Depends what I have to do. If it's a carpentry job, I have to set up make sure I have all my saws, like a chop saw, skill saw, miter saw, anything that I'm gonna need for the day that I have to pack into my tools. Because if I'm 2 hours away and I forget a hammer or a nail gun or something, you just can just go back home and get it. So organizing everything the day before, making sure you have a list of all the tools you're gonna need when you're far away. And usually, like, if you're gonna change a couple of windows, you know what you need to take. Is that you need a table saw, you need that, and making sure you have all your stuff so you're not wasting time going back and forth again.
What are some of the ways that the building industry has changed over your career?
Well, when I first started, we were building like 3 houses a week. It was a crew of about 150 people. So every week we had 3 houses ready to move in, from foundation to being painted. And now, working for myself is really relaxed now. It's not like running all the time. So it's a big change, I think.
Is that a part that you like?
Yes, because it was, before you don't take any ownership of your work because so many people, you just basically somebody's laying a piece of wood, you're nailing it and moving to the next one, and then somebody comes and picks it up, and then somebody else puts the sheetrock, and somebody else paints it. But now I do everything.
What are some of the things that you have to think about when you're planning and making a bid on a job?
For example, like when I'm giving a quote to change a front door, for example, you gotta look at the outside. If the wood looks a little raw, you're gonna encounter a little bit of problem. So you gotta prepare the whole to say, maybe when I take the door out, your seals are gonna be rotted or some studs, and then when you come to that, then the insulation needs to be changed, and so ends up being, they think you're gonna change the front door, but ends up being a bigger job at the end. Not for me, but for them, because they're not thinking ahead of like, oh, maybe the subfloor is rotted, maybe my seal plates are rotted, maybe, so you see a little club that is broken, water's been getting there for years and years, so everything behind that could be bad. So that's one of the things I always have to, like, when somebody's asking me for a quote, you gotta look a little bit ahead. Like, okay, we might encounter these, we might encounter that. Sometimes you open the walls and you find out the mice had chewed the wires for the electricity, so you have to call electricians, and so it's one of those things.
Knowing how to do something such as construction is one thing, but running a business is a whole different skill set. Have you learned to do the business and promotional sides of your work?
I have. I do business cards. I bring them to real estate companies down in Marlboro. I have signs that I put outside houses where I'm working. What else I do? I put it on hardware, my business cards on hardware stores, those stocky boards. And lately I was working on Facebook for my business.
Do you do any like word of mouth?
Yes, we do. I think a lot of my business comes from just people talking to people. Usually it happens whether I go to one neighborhood in Marlboro and I do a little job, and next thing you know, I'm there for 6 months on different houses. So that's how it works a lot for especially in a small town like Marlboro. And it's not like if you put a radio ad, it's gonna cost you a lot, but you're only gonna reach probably the same amount of people.
What are some of the skills you need to have in order to run a business successfully?
I think just patience, and you have to get like when you go talk to people, you kind of have to respect their opinions, even though you don't agree with them sometimes. Because some people try to tell you what, I believe this is how you're supposed to do it. So you just can go and say, no, you're not doing it like that because this, oh, I read on the internet you're supposed to do it this way. And I'm like, well, there's, what they say is more than 10 times to skin a cat. So most like just coming across like when somebody gives you their opinion, you just can't shut them down, you have to respect it. And if it's not the right way, you just have to work together to come to the same solution.
Who are your more typical clients?
Older people right now trying to make their house handicap ready. Just like wheelchair accessible, making bathrooms, like taking out their tubs and making them short so they can just step in and out with no problem. So and in the summer I get a lot of painting and doing siding and fences. I've done a lot of fences like that on the side for privacy in Vermont. You need them.
Would you talk a bit about a recent job you had in town, or about a job you're currently working on?
For example,
Uh,
I just did David's windows on his porch. You notice that? You been to Dave Holzapfel?
I haven't.
Okay, so on the back he has a porch that they used to put like a roofing on the winter, so the squirrels and the bats and there's no one come in. So a month ago he called me, it's like, hey Jorge, I need some windows over here. So I got him 5 really nice windows, and we took all his old stuff and we sided it, and looks amazing. I just built a deck today, not today, but I just finished it today. In Halifax, 25 by 40. So it's a pretty big deck. That took me a while. That was a lot of wood cutting. What else have I done lately? Did a lot of painting over the winter, interior. Patching holes, fieldwork, so did a lot of painting.
That's pretty cool. In your opinion, what are some of the difficulties that the building industry faces today?
The building industry is facing a lot of, they're not building as much as before because of the market, and nobody's buying houses because they don't have money. What happens in Vermont, here the houses are so old that somebody like me always getting calls because stuff is breaking up, because the weather is so rough, snow, minus 40, 90, mildew, ice damage. So for somebody like me here, there's always, I think, gonna be the opportunity, because everything is always breaking down, and it's not a lot of new construction here. It's only in Dover, where all the ski resorts are. But they usually hire big companies from the city to come and build here. So they don't hire people like from the area. There's always somebody coming from the cities.
If time, money, and life circumstances didn't matter at all, and if you were just starting your career today, what career would you choose?
I think I'd be a news anchor or something to manual labor. Just something. I don't know. Maybe a soccer star or something. Kind of. I'll change my answer by tomorrow, but what I think about it better.
What are some of your interests aside from your contractor work?
I like to do landscaping around my house. I like to play golf. I have a 3-hole course out there that I'm working on. We drive our kids to lacrosse, soccer, ice hockey, you name it. That's an interest.
What do you do to relax?
I don't relax. I'm always tense.
Is there anything else about your life or work that you'd like to mention that I haven't asked you yet?
Not really. Thanks for asking.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.